Solarte at third, Dickerson in left, Schimpf at second, Bethencourt does the catching, Kivlahan in right, Sardinia is the shortstop, and Friedrich, the pitcher, batting out of the 9 spot. Ready to go is Christian Friedrich on the hill tonight for the Padres, and ready for us is Jesse Agler.
All right, Don, thanks a lot. Dexter Fowler, switch hitter, will bat from the right side against Friedrich, and the first pitch of the evening is thrown. It is a fastball. It is a called strike at 90 miles per hour on the outside corner. 0-1. Fowler, 278 average, 10 homers, 39 RBIs. He is their everyday leadoff man. Next pitch from Friedrich, good breaking ball. A curve dropped in, hit at the knees, and now quickly 0-2 on Fowler. Fowler led off both the first and the third inning last night by reaching via the walk. He's behind here, though, and the 0-2 from Friedrich is grounded up the middle at shortstop. Sardinius over by the bag, little sidearm throw, plenty of mustard on it, and Fowler grounds to short for the first out here in the top of the first inning. So a look there at Luis Sardinius, who started at second base last night in his Padre debut at shortstop here this evening. That's where they expect he'll get the bulk of his playing time moving forward. And, Don, very quickly last night we saw the range of Sardinius.
Got to tell you, I know we've only seen him very briefly, but I'll tell you what, I like what I see so far, especially from his range standpoint. Could be fun to watch.
So 1 out, bases empty for the number 2 hitter, Chris Bryant. Another right-handed hitter. Bryant at third base tonight. He was in left field in last night's game, and a fastball misses outside, 1-0. The only new guy, so to speak, in the lineup for Joe Maddon tonight is the catcher, Wilson Contreras. But 3 guys playing in different spots than they did yesterday, which is obviously a little bit unusual. 1-0 skips in and actually hit in front of the plate. 2 balls and no strikes to Bryant. So Bryant last night was in the outfield. Baez last night was at third base. He's at second tonight. And Ben Zobrist in left field tonight was at second base yesterday. So all 3 still in the lineup, but all 3 playing a different position than they did in the first game of the series. 2-0 to Bryant is a fastball outside, 3-0. And Joe Maddon's explanation for that, Don, was basically he wants them to feel comfortable everywhere.
Yeah, and that is the case. I mean, that is something that he gives him a lot more flexibility when he goes to make a lineup, especially when you're thinking about the postseason and keeping Ben Zobrist still fresh in the outfield.
3-0 fastball is outside. So a 4-pitch walk to Chris Bryant with 1 out in the top of the first inning. And the first base runner of the night is the former USD star.
And as far as the catcher goes, different tonight of Wilson Contreras. Of course, the personal catcher for John Lester is David Ross. But really the personal catcher lately for Jake Arrieta, who's reigning Cy Young Award winner, has become Contreras.
So 1 out base runner for Christian Friedrich to contend with here. Bryant has stolen 8 bases on the year. He'll lead off first, and the left-handed hitting Anthony Rizzo steps in. Rizzo, after last night, is now the Cubs' leading hitter. Hopped over Chris Bryant in the batting average department, and he takes a fastball strike on the outer half. Rizzo now a 301 average as compared to 299 for Bryant. Had the huge night last night. Grounded into a double play to end the first inning, and then he had hits in each of his final 4 at-bats. Single, double, single, single with a run scored. These 2 guys just jockeying back and forth for the team lead in everything, it seems. There's a slider from Friedrich. It misses outside. And the count evens on Rizzo, 1-1.
The last 9 games for Anthony Rizzo, hitting at .450 with 6 runs scored.
We can give you any number of numbers that explain how well he's hitting the ball. 10 for his last 19. Etc., etc. He asks for time here. It's granted by the plate umpire Nick Lentz. He's a minor league fill-in. Mark Ripperger, the first base umpire tonight. Crew chief Joe West is at second. And Kerwin Danley, as Ted would say, the Aztec for life, is at third. Bryant at first, ball and a strike to Anthony Rizzo. And he fouls one back underneath the second level to the left of home plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the Cub first baseman and former Padre, Anthony Rizzo. So 4-hit game last night for Rizzo. Only 1 man in the National League has more 4-hit games this year than he does. And if I gave you a million guesses, I don't think you'd come up with who it is. It's the Giants' Eduardo Nunez. It's the only guy in the National League this season with more 4-hit games than Rizzo. This one's hit well out to right field. Kivlahan is over by the warning track, now coming over towards the line. He reaches down and makes the catch. Well, for the second time in as many nights, a little bit of a zigzag route in right field by Kivlahan, but he got there, he made the play, and Bryant's got to retreat to first base, 2 down in the top of the first.
Had Patrick on the pregame today. I had the chance to talk to him in an interview prior to the ball game. He was talking about That right field corner for him is tough, and running towards the line, he said, is the hardest part so far playing right field here. And he's sort of dealing with it in that time. Had to go to his left and towards the right field line. And tough route, but he got there, and a result-based business made the catch.
That's what matters. So 2 outs, and Zobrist comes in, switch hitter from the right side. First pitch from Friedrich is a fastball and a called strike, top part of the zone. 0-1. Christian, 29 years old, making his 18th and potentially final start of the season. Padre plan is to transition him to the bullpen sooner rather than later. Career high innings pitched, far more than last year when he pitched in relief for the Rockies. They just want to protect the arm. 0-1 pitch to Zobrist is a fastball just a little bit too far inside, maybe low, and the count evens 1-1.
Now you're looking at 112 2/3 total innings this year. Just 4 innings shy of doubling his innings total from last year, when he was exclusively out of the pen for the Rockies.
So there you go. Padres have gone with the 6-man rotation. That goes away now with a couple of off days coming up this week. 1-1 line to left field. That's going to be a 2-out base hit for Zobrist. Bryant takes a turn around second, but no reason to try and advance against Dickerson to third. So a 2-out single for Zobrist. Runners on first and second for the Cubs. And Addison Russell, who had himself a night last night, is coming to the plate. Yeah, the Padres will have an off day Thursday in Miami and then another Monday in Atlanta. So they're going to go away from the 6-man rotation. And when things sort of level back out, who knows? Tyson Ross could be back. Andy Green said today that Ross would have a rehab start with Lake Elsinore Storm coming up on Thursday. A couple of those, and if everything goes well, could be back in early or mid-September for the Padres. Here's the shortstop Russell, first and second, 2 away, and Bethancourt asks for time. He'll go out and chat with Christian Friedrich. Check the Padre defense for you. On the infield, left to right, Solarte, Sardinius, Schimpf, Myers. In the outfield, Dickerson in left, Jankowski in center, Kivlahan in right, Bethancourt behind the dish for the second consecutive game, catching Christian Friedrich. Russell, more RBIs than any other shortstop in the National League. He's got 80. Franchise record is 85 by a shortstop. And he fouls the first pitch off to our right, off the facing of the upper deck. 0-1. And you can see why Addison Russell has as many RBIs as he does. Sure, he's having a fine season at the plate, but in this lineup, there are always ducks on the pond for him.
No question. There's always guys out there, and you look right now. You got Bryant at second, Zobrist at first. Talk about table setters. They get plenty of them.
Russell hitting .249, 18th homer last night to go with the 80 RBIs. 0-1 pitch is lifted in the air right field. Kivlahan went back, now coming in, lines it up. He'll make the catch, and the side is retired. No runs, a hit, and 2 men left for the Cubs in the first against Christian. Jake Arrieta. He's also the 2016 Major League wins leader so far. 15-5 record, 2.75 ERA. Not quite the numbers he put up a year ago when he went 22-6 with a 1.77. Beat out both Greinke and Kershaw in the National League Cy Young race. Jankowski to lead it off against him. Left-handed batter, of course. They pinch in at the corners. And the first pitch fastball misses high at 94 miles per hour. 1-0 to Travis. Jankowski, lead single off Lester in the first inning last night. Stole second, but then was caught trying to steal third on a delayed steal. 1-0 is another high fastball. 2 balls and no strikes to Jankowski. And so Travis has now reached in 21 consecutive games. That's every game this month. The longest active streak in all of baseball and the longest by a Padre this season. How about that, Travis Jankowski? 2-0 is a little bit low. 3 straight fastballs to Jankowski. 2 missed up, 1 missed down. And now a 3-ball no-strike count from Arrieta, who in his last start walked a career-high 7. 3-0. Jankowski taking all the way. There's a strike. And another fastball from Arrieta. You can certainly envision Jake Arrieta on the mound very up and down, straight up and down when he stands on the rubber. 3-1 pitch is just on the inside corner. That's a called strike. Another fastball. And from 3-0 to 3-2. No bend in his back whatsoever. Stands totally upright. He's got the big black beard. Holds the glove right at his belt buckle. Stares in and then steps back into the wind. Here's the 3-2. It is low, ball 4. So Travis Jankowski wastes no time extending the streak. 22 consecutive games reaching base. He draws a lead walk here against Arrieta in the bottom of the first. How about that? Travis Jankowski has the longest on-base streak in baseball right now.
Well, it's impressive, and certainly we know what happens when he gets on base. He can wreak havoc, and that's a huge part of his game, certainly what he's able to do with his legs.
27 stolen bases, tied for fourth most in the National League and the most among all National League rookies. Here's Will Myers back in the two-hole after hitting third in last night's game. Jankowski steps off the lead. Arrieta looks over at him. Now he comes set. First pitch to Myers is a fastball on the outside corner. 0-1. Will batting .267 to lead the team with 23 home runs to lead the team, 71 RBIs to lead the team. Last night 0 for 3 with a walk. Throw to first base. Jankowski gets back with the head first dive. Cub defense, Bryant and Russell on the left side of the infield, Baez and Rizzo on the right side. In the outfield, Zobrist in left, Fowler in center, Hayward in right. And Wilson Contreras catching Arrieta for a second consecutive start. Here's the 0-1 to Myers. It's high off the glove of Contreras, but it bounces back in front of the plate. So no chance for Jankowski to advance. 1 ball and 1 strike. A lot of fastballs from Arrieta. He sinks it, gets a lot of ground balls, mixes in the slider. And the Padre approach is pretty much everybody's approach against Arrieta, which is hope to capitalize on the mistakes up in the zone. Here's the 1-1 to Myers. He takes outside. 2 balls and a strike. Close pitch. Contreras kind of jabbed at it with the catcher's mitt. Cutter running away from Myers. And the count has swung in his favor. Jankowski, a decent lead over at first, not gigantic, not running, and the 2-1 fastball outside again, 3 balls and a strike. Arrieta humped it up to 95 that time. But again, it ran away from the right-handed hitting Will Myers, and again, the catcher Contreras sort of jabbing at it with the catcher's mitt, and a lot of talk these days about pitch framing. That's not the way to do it. They set up outside again, and on 3-1, it's grounded over to the left side. Bryant charges in at third, thought about second. Now he'll go to first base. Kind of double clutch trying to get the ball out of his glove. By the time he handled it cleanly, Jankowski, in his estimation, was too close to second base to try and get that play. So he threw to first. Retired Myers 5-3. Jankowski gets to second, and now 1 away for Yangervis Solarte. Well, we've praised the Cub defense a lot in the first couple of nights of this series, and they've been very good this year. But mistake last night and an ugly series defensively against the Rockies over the weekend, and I don't know that they would have turned 2 there, but he certainly had a shot at the lead runner had he handled that cleanly.
Yeah, he took a look, and you got Jankowski running. That's part of it also, so he elected to go the shore out at first.
Jankowski trying to run to third, throw by Contreras, not even close. Pitch was in the dirt to Solarte. Travis guessed right, that's for sure, as far as the pitch selection, and stolen base number 28 on the season for Travis Jankowski. He's at third base with 1 out and a 1-0 count to Solarte.
Stole that on Arrieta, no doubt about it. He got a great jump.
Pitch in the dirt, no help to Contreras. And now the Cubs are going to bring the infield in a little bit here in the bottom of the first inning. Solarte, switch batter from the left side against Arrieta. Yeah, all 4 infielders are in. 1-0, big swing and a miss. He was out in front. Curveball from Arrieta. And the count evens, a ball and a strike.
As far as errors go, the Cubs are 8th. Middle of the pack as far as their defense goes. Least errors made on the year.
1 ball and 1 strike to Solarte. All 4 infielders right around where the grass meets the dirt. And a ground ball to first base, but foul. That'll be handled by Tarek Brock. He coaches first for the Padres. Glenn Hoffman coaching third. Ball and 2 strikes to Solarte, who was not in the game last night. Comes in with a .285 average, 13 homers, 52 runs batted in. He had 14 bombs a year ago in 152 games. Missed a good chunk of this season with injury. 1-2 pitch outside in the dirt. Throw back to third. They got him. Jankowski picked off by the catcher Contreras. For the second consecutive night, Travis Jankowski makes an out at third base in the first inning. I don't know that that was a set play or if the Cubs just read it really well, but it was perfectly executed and not all that close at third base, although You always want to take a closer look at the tag, but the throw beat him pretty handily. So all of a sudden, 2 outs, and now a 2-2 to Solarte. That is taken. Strike 3 called. Good curveball from Arrieta, and boy, did that inning change in a hurry. No runs, no hits, and after that, nobody left. We'll go to the second, scoreless at Petco. This is Padres night after his 4-day mental break. Lefty-lefty matchup here. Hayward showed bunt, pulled back, but took a breaking ball strike. 0-1. So Jankowski picked off by the catcher Wilson Contreras, who's got a gun back there, by the way, for the second out in the first inning. Last night ended the first inning on that delayed steal attempt of third base. 0-1 to Hayward is outside. There's a fine line between aggressive and over-aggressive. Andy Green has talked about that. And I would say a good learning opportunity for guys like Travis Jankowski. Friedrich stares in, gets his sign from Bethancourt, and the 1-1 curveball drops in for a strike.
Certainly a surprise. I don't think you expect that very much. You don't see it very much, where you're going to be tested at third base when you're getting your average lead down there. But then again, as you mentioned, not an average arm for Contreras.
Not only that, but the Padres have drawn a lot of attention to themselves on the base paths. 1-2 pitch is grounded weakly back towards the mound. Friedrich off the mound. Has it. Little underhand toss to Myers. Hayward grounds out 1-3. And 1 down here in the top of the second inning. And that's a compliment in a way, right? The Padres have put a target on their back, particularly when Jankowski is on the bases. Teams know that they're really going to push the limit. They're going to pay attention to that. You're not going to catch anybody by surprise at this point.
No, those days are gone. Earlier on in the year, a lot of people did not know about Travis Jankowski and his speed, but now he especially is going to get a lot of attention and has. And unfortunately, he's run into outs. As you mentioned, the first inning in back-to-back games now.
Here's Javi Baez playing second base tonight. Right-handed hitter. Swings to the first pitch, hits it into the shift on the left side. That's Ryan Schimpf. Throws across to Myers. And a 4-3 ground out to the left side for Baez. Quickly, a couple of ground outs for Friedrich here in the second inning. And Christian Friedrich, last time out Wednesday at Tampa Bay, pitched into the seventh inning. Gave up a 2-run homer in the first, and that was it. A walk, 5 strikeouts. Really pitched very, very nicely. And tonight, this is pretty crazy. His 18th start, which is now tied for the team lead. Remember, he didn't make his season debut until mid-May. Colin Ray, the other guy with 18 starts. And he won't make any more, you would think. Wilson Contreras, the catcher, number 8 hitter, takes a fastball a little bit inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, I don't think anybody imagined that in late August, Christian Friedrich would be tied for the team lead with 18 starts. 1-0 is outside and low. 2 balls and no strikes to the Cub catcher. We did not see Contreras last night. 53 games this year, hitting .264 with 7 homers. This is his 26th start behind the dish. Friedrich working quickly tonight, and the 2-0 is low. 3 balls and no strikes. But, I mean, literally from opening day, Tyson Ross getting hurt. Pitching has not gone as planned for the Padres. Friedrich, though, as we said, finished very strong against the Rays the other day, picking up right where he left off. Good first inning, now a good first second, and a fastball on the outside corner for a called strike, 3-1. This, of course, is one of the best lineups in baseball. Cubs have scored more runs than anyone else, and have scored at least 3 times in each of their last 21 games. 3-1 to Contreras, big swing and a miss. Friedrich fooled him. Good changeup down and away to the right-handed hitter. And from 3-0 to 3-2 to the Cub catcher, Wilson Contreras. Contreras, 24 years old, from Venezuela, waits for the 3-2, and he hits it up the middle. That's going to be a base hit. Took a funny hop off the second base umpire, Joe West, and now he's going to get to second base. That's a tough break for the Padres. Umpires are in play out on the field.
Country Joe gets it in the legs, and it kicks to short left. Literally kicked it.
I mean, it was going to be a normal single, and West, I guess, trying to get out of the way, shuffled his feet. The ball deflected to left field, and then all of a sudden Dickerson had to charge in to field it and give Contreras all the credit in the world. He stayed with the play. He was paying attention, and he makes it to second base. It'll be a double. It happens. You hate to see it, but it happens. And Joe West, again, he's trying to get out of the way, but I don't think he had a great read on the ball. He sort of stepped into it, and in doing so, kicked it into left field. It was going to be a ground ball up the middle. So 2 outs, Contreras at second, and Arrieta, a good hitting pitcher, swings and misses at a fastball, 0-1. 265 with 2 home runs and 2 doubles for Jake Arrieta this year.
Well, the breakdown, 13 hits and 49 at-bats for him, but as you mentioned, one of the best hitting pitchers.
It's kind of an open stance from the right side. And the 0-1 is hit in the air. Center field should be routine for Travis Jankowski. Comes in a few steps, makes the catch. No harm, no foul on the Joe West aided double. No runs, a hit, and a man left for the Cubs. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Still scoreless. This is Padre baseball on the mighty. He's got the 2-out double off the foot of Joe West in the top of the inning. But Jake Arrieta flew out to end the inning, and Christian Friedrich is through 2 without allowing a run. First pitch fastball, a called strike to Dickerson. Outer half, 0-1. Left-handed batter, of course, Dickerson hitting .267 with 8 home runs. One of them, a grand slam at Wrigley Field. You know, the first of his career. 0-1, big curveball, that's outside. And the count evens, a ball and a strike to Alex Dickerson. Last night, Alex scored the only Padre run of the game, came home on a wild pitch. It was part of a strikeout. John Lester was excellent. 1-1 to Dickerson is inside and, called a strike. Caught the corner. So the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes on the Padre left fielder. Arrieta just stands on the rubber, doesn't waste any time. And the 1-2 is floated out to right field. Hayward coming in, not going to have a play. Alex Dickerson with a base hit to lead off the second inning. Nice job there. Looked like a cutter that kind of ran in on him, stayed with it, and dropped it in front of the right fielder, Jason Hayward.
First hit of the night for the Padres, and it looked like Hayward may come in and try to make a bid on that ball, as it would hang up long enough for him to try to do that. But, of course, last night misplayed a ball in right field. This time he backed off and took the easy way this time, making sure that it didn't get by him.
Batter will be Ryan Schimpf. Runner on first, nobody out. And a second consecutive left-handed bat for Arrieta to contend with. First pitch to Ryan. Big swing and a miss. Chased a fastball down and away. 0-1. Schimpf enters with a .221 average and, of course, all the extra base hits. 14 homers, 12 doubles, 2 triples. Did not start last night's game. Came in as a pinch hitter in the 7th. And reached on that wild pitch that scored Dickerson. Here's the 0-1. That is a called strike at the knees. Another fastball from Arrieta, quickly 0-2. "28 of his 38 major league hits have gone for extra bases. Arrieta ahead of him. Now the 0-2 to Schimpf. That's a pop-up sky-high, shallow right field. Hayward coming in. Calls for it, waving the glove hand. Waiting, makes the catch. Dickerson back to first. And Schimpf pops up to right for the first out here in the bottom of the second. Padres baseball is brought to you by your San Diego County Lexus dealer. Save on twice the selection of Lexuses today during the Golden Opportunity Sales event at Lexus Carlsbad and Lexus Escondido.
Jake Arrieta throws a fastball 66% of the time. And fastball counts, guess what the opponent's hitting against him? 0-50 opponents on his fastball. Not doing much with it.
No. Overall, opponents only hitting 187 against him. It's the best number in the National League. Here's Bethencourt, 1 out runner on first. They check on that runner, and Dickerson sort of crawls back to the bag at first. Yeah, here's a recipe for going 15-5. You ready? 187 opponent average, best in the National League. And he gets over 7 runs per game of support, most in the National League. So, you can't get a hit against him, and he gets a lot of runs. Good combo. First pitch to Bethencourt is a high fastball. And all of that said, not as good as last year. That's how good last year was. Dickerson a small lead over at first base. Rizzo is holding him on, though he stands off the bag. Now a 1-0 to Bethencourt, and that's on the outside corner. Fastball, called strike. And we've seen a lot of fastball tonight from Arrieta.
Yeah, we just saw Zach Greinke, who went 19-3 last year, had great numbers as well, but not as good as Arrieta. He was the runner-up in the Cy Young Award voting.
I think earlier I said 2 straight starts for Bethancourt behind the plate. It's actually 3. Throwback to first. Dickerson in standing this time. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday for Bethancourt. Has a hit in 4 of his last 5 games. One is on the way, and it's ground ball to short. Could be 2, should be 2. Russell flips to Baez, bare hand, scoop, throw to first. What a play. Not a good feed from Russell to Baez, but Baez made a sensational effort with the bare hand to turn 2. 6-4-3, that is how the second inning will come to a close. We go to the third scoreless.
Sardinez will fire across to first, and Fowler retired 6-3. Second time that Fowler has grounded out to Sardinez in this game. Padres Baseball is brought to you by Widen Energy Fund. Let Widen run the numbers to see how much you can save on solar and energy efficiency home improvements. Call Widen at 855-CLEAN-ENERGY. So 1 out here in the third inning, and it brings up Chris Bryant. First pitch, kind of a check swing, but he went. According to home plate umpire Nick Lentz, didn't even need to check with the first base umpire Mark Rippinger. He was calling it himself. Now the Cubs coming into this game looking for their 80th win of the year. They're 79-45. A pitch swung on by Bryant, sent foul down the first base line and back into the seats. So 79 wins, the most by far in the major leagues. Second in that category, the Nationals, who lead the National League East. It's 73 wins, and the Texas Rangers, who have 73 wins. They're leading the American League West. 0-2 is high, 1-2. There was a stretch in late June, early July, where the Cubs all of a sudden went into, for them, and it didn't last long, but they really scuffled there for a while. They came out of it. Too much talent on this team to really scuffle for very long. 1-2 pitch, slap foul to the screen.
I remember when we were at Wrigley in early May, Theo Epstein was saying out loud to anyone and everyone who would listen that, hey, this is not sustainable. We're not this good. We can't be this good. And I think he was kind of setting the stage for that inevitable back-to-earth moment that would take place. And like you said, they came back a little bit, but still, tremendous team.
1-2 pitch, swung on and driven to deep left field. Dickerson going back at the wall, over his head and gone. Into the first row of seats off the bat of Chris Bryant. He's done it again. His 33rd home run of the year. Homered last night. Homer is here tonight. We'll see. Homered at the All-Star game. And the Chicago Cubs jump out to a 1-0 lead. That was of the line drive home run variety.
Looked like the All-Star game against Chris Sale. He really is incredible to watch, and his college coach, by the way, is next door in the TV booth right now. Rich Hill hanging out with Dick Enberg, Mark Grant, and he just got to watch his guy go deep.
That's a ground ball foul outside of first base. Anthony Rizzo batting for the second time tonight.
By the way, Rockies in Milwaukee lead 4-2 in the bottom of the seventh. Nolan Arenado earlier tonight hit his 33rd. So Bryant reties him for the National League lead.
Rizzo has 25 home runs of his own. Bit of an open stance from the left side, and the pitch swung on, shift on, and diving is Yangervis Solarte. Picks himself up and throws to first in time. Nice play there. Nice diving play by Solarte. They were in the shift. And the Padres third baseman on the right side of the infield sprawling onto the dirt to make the grab and then fired to first. And Anthony Rizzo retired technically 5-3.
So a couple of things about that play. One, tremendous job by Solarte. But in the shift, he probably didn't have to make it. It was going to be routine for Schimpf behind him. But again, with these guys playing kind of all over the diamond, it's hard to know that in that moment. He reacted sort of instinctively and made a really, really nice play.
2 down, bases empty. Ben Zobrist, the batter. In left field tonight defensively, and he takes a pitch for a strike at the knees.
By the way, I mean, with Bryant homering here again, and obviously Rizzo right after, these are two guys legitimately at the top of the MVP conversation in the National League on the same team, batting back-to-back.
No one pitch outside, and it's a ball and a strike now to Zobrist.
I guess that's how you get to 79 wins on August 23rd. You got to have great players, and the Cubs have many of them, including, of course, those two.
1-1 from Friedrich is swung on and fouled down the right field line, out of play. Well, the home run by Chris Bryant has given the Cubs a 1-0 advantage here in the third inning with 2 down. Friedrich, for the most part, has done a pretty good job of keeping the ball down. Not that time, though. That pitch was about belt high that Bryant hit out. 5 ground ball outs in 2 2/3 innings, though, for Friedrich. His 1-2 pitch is swung on. Another ground ball. This is to Solarte, deep third. Long throw, and it's not dug out by Myers. One hopper. Myers went to the backhand, and it's in and out of his first baseman's glove. And Zobrist will reach. Error charge to Solarte on the throw. Kind of threw off his back foot a little bit after he backed up a step on the ball at deep third base, and the one hopper off the heel of the glove of Will Myers, and the error charge to Solarte on the throw continues the inning.
Yeah, I mean, 999 times out of 1,000, I think that error is charged to the third baseman. But I think Will Myers would tell you he's got to make that play.
So 2 down. Zobrist at first, and Addison Russell stands in. Swing to the first pitch, fouls it back to the screen.
And what I mean by that is it was not a perfect throw by Solarte, but it's a throw that I think Will handles most times, and he didn't there. And the error goes to Jan Harris because it wasn't a perfect throw. But Myers, still learning first base to a certain extent. Looked very good overall, though, defensively.
Addison Russell flying out to right field in the first inning, 0 for 1. 249 average coming into tonight's game. And he takes the 0-1 outside. Last 4 games for Russell, he's 5 for 15. 4 home runs and 6 RBIs in his last 4 games. Had a great defensive play. Robbed Will Myers in the ball game last night. 1-1. Swung on and driven towards left center field. On the move is Dickerson from left. He reaches and can't get it. One hops up into the seats. It is a ground rule double. So Zobrist will have to be stopped at third. Russell at second base. And that is somewhat costly for the Cubs because Zobrist would have scored coming full bore from first base with 2 outs in the inning, but jumps up off the warning track in left center and into the first row of seats. So it'll be second and third, a gapper ground rule double for Addison Russell.
Yeah, if that wall's maybe 2 feet higher out in left center field, Addison Russell has his 81st RBI of the season. And Friedrich caught a tough break on the error that should have ended the inning. Now he catches a good break. And let's see if he can pitch himself out of the situation.
Second and third, 2 down. Jason Hayward standing in. Hayward grounding back to the mound in the second inning, 0 for 1. Pitch swung on and a fly ball. Lifted to short right field, Schimpf out. And it'll be Ryan Schimpf who'll make the catch in front of Kivlahan in right field to end the inning. But a home run in the inning for Chris Bryant has get Kivlahan, so 5-3 on the putout. 1 pitch, 1 out for Jake Arrieta. And here's Luis Sardinia still looking into the Padres dugout, and they're maybe challenging this play at first base.
Sorry about that. Very close at first base. Jake Arrieta, reigning Cy Young winner, he waits for no clock. When he's ready, he's ready. And he fired the first pitch of that inning off very, very quickly. And it was put into play very, very quickly.
No challenge by the Padres on what was a close play at first base. Bryant kind of double clutched and then threw a bit of a changeup over to first base, but it did beat Kivlahan as the first pitch down low, ball 1 to Sardinez. 1 for 3 in his Padres debut here last night. 1-0. Up and away, 2-0. Padres have one hit. Alex Dickerson with a single to right field in the second inning. 187 average for Sardinez between his time in Seattle here in San Diego as well. And he'll take the strike on the inside corner. Sardinez bats now with Friedrich waiting on deck. Padres batting here in the bottom of the third. Pitch inside. Run on the home run by Chris Bryant in the top of the third inning has given the Cubs a 1-0 advantage. Right-hander ready with a 3-1 pitch. And that's outside. Ball 4 to Luis Sardinez. Second walk allowed tonight by Arrieta.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier and worth repeating now. 7 walks on Thursday against the Brewers for Arrieta. Most he's ever allowed in a single game in his major league career.
Gave up 5 runs over 5 innings on Thursday. Bailed out by his offense, though, in a 9-6 Cubs victory.
There's that run support.
1 out, 1 on. Christian Friedrich, the batter. They're in at the corners, anticipating the bunt. And Friedrich already squaring. Here they come, and the bunt dropped down. Throw to second base, out there. Throw to first, and he is out there. That is an interesting defense right there. Javier Baez, the second baseman, charging from second base, comes in, and he's the one that picks up the bunt. And he fires to second base, and the sacrifice bid. Fourth inning, and it's 1-0. Chicago on top of San Diego. Javier Baez, Wilson Contreras, and Jake Arrieta will bat here in the fourth inning. I don't think I've seen that defensive play like that where they had the third baseman charging and the second baseman charging on an obvious bunt situation for a pitcher. Pitch is outside, ball 1.
Against the Diamondbacks over the weekend, we saw Myers with that great aggressive charge, where he's basically on top of the plate when the ball is bunted, and they got a force at third base. But I'm with you. I've never seen that from a second baseman.
Baez fouls it off to the right out of play.
And it's kind of brilliant, I think. And Joe Madden, top step of the dugout, has got a little smirk on his face. I don't know if the Cubs have done that before this year, but that was really, really different and really, really impressive.
Turned into a 4-6-3 double play, and wasn't a terrible bunt.
No, and he ran hard.
1-1 pitch is popped up right side. Will Myers, first baseman, near the line, will make the catch with the dirt on the feet on the dirt of the infield and in fair ground. So Baez pops out for out number 1 here in the fourth inning, and that'll bring up Wilson Contreras.
By the way, I'm pro bat flip, but Baez, he just popped up to first base, and the bat ended up 45 feet up the first baseline in front of the Padre dugout.
So it was more than a flip.
Yeah, more of a chuck. He's in the Olympic spirit. It was like a hammer throw.
1 down here in the fourth brings up Wilson Contreras, the catcher. He doubled his first time up, sort of. As the pitch is a strike over the outside corner. There's a ground ball, bounding ball up the middle that got Joe West, the second base umpire, in the shins, and he kind of kicked it out to left field, and it turned into a double. A 1 pitch, not close. Outside and away, and it is 1-1.
I've had a couple weird things already tonight, huh?
Yeah. I can't tell you the last umpire I saw hit with a ball that was kicked somewhere, and of course in play. 1-1 pitch inside, ball 2.
If he had stayed right where he was, and I'm not trying to pick on Joe West, it happens very quickly down there, but if he had not moved, that ball gets through without hitting him. He was trying to get out of the way, but actually put himself in the line of fire, and as he was making a step to his right, I guess, he kicked the ball into left. You'll see it on all the highlights.
Friedrich's 2-1 pitch is swung on, driven high and deep to left field, but it is hooking foul. Ball crushed that time by Contreras, but he was well out ahead. Slider that didn't do much for Christian Friedrich, and a ball hit very hard by Contreras. 1-0 Chicago on top. One out, bases empty here, and a 2-2. That is outside for ball 3. Padres baseball is brought to you by Reno Contracting. Reno Contracting is honored to support the Warrior Foundation by making a $100 contribution for every Padres home run this season. One out in the 4th inning, and payoff pitch coming up here to Wilson Contreras. Swung on, and a foul fly down the right field line, out of play. The Giants and Dodgers are meeting tonight in that big series, and it is a 2-1 lead right now for the Dodgers.
The other news there is that L.A. put a couple of more pitchers on the disabled list. Scott Kazmir, Brandon McCarthy, now 27 different guys on the DL this year for L.A. That ties the Major League record for most number of different guys placed on the disabled list in a season. Think about that. That's more than a full active roster.
Challenging first year for Dave Roberts. 3-2 pitch will bounce in, and that's ball 4. Contreras down to first base. That is the second walk allowed by Christian Friedrich in his outing. And it'll bring up the opposing pitcher, Jake Arrieta. That's Madison Bumgarner going in that game tonight against the Dodgers. And Dodgers have a 2-1 lead. Bumgarner 0-3 in his last 4 games started against the Dodgers. One out, one on. Jake Arrieta getting his second look at Christian Friedrich. First time up in the 2nd inning. He flied out to center field. Swung on and missed for strike 1. Fastball only at 89 miles an hour. Friedrich is not going to blow you away, but he does jump ahead of Arrieta. 0-1. Outfield straight away on Arrieta. He is up and away, and it is 1-1. Now Friedrich first called up from AAA El Paso back on May the 13th. Made his Padre debut that same day against the Milwaukee Brewers. 6 innings, giving up 1 run in that first outing, and has been in the rotation ever since. Throw to first, and back to the bag is Contreras. And again, that likely is coming to an end tonight. It's probably the last start for Christian Friedrich, and most likely heading to the pen. Talked about the number of innings that he has logged. It'll be more than double than what he put together last year in his final year as member of the Colorado Rockies bullpen. 1-1. Swung on and fouled off the mask of Christian Bethancourt. Nick Lentz, the home plate umpire, giving Bethancourt a little extra time. Appears to be okay.
And, Don, that's a lot of important innings that Friedrich was able to eat up this year. You know, when you consider the state of the Padre rotation, not just the trades, but the injuries, the guys missing, and the different roles people have been kind of forced into. It was very, very important what he was able to do this year.
1 out, 1 on. The pitch to Arrieta. Breaking ball in there for strike 3. Good curveball there by Friedrich. It froze Arrieta. And that is the first strikeout for Friedrich. It's out number 2 of the 4th inning. So it looked like Arrieta may be looking for something else. That's a big sweeping curveball, and good pitch right at the knees. 2 down, Contreras at first base. Back up top now to Dexter Fowler. 3rd time through the order now for Christian Friedrich. Swung on, fly ball headed out to right field. Kivlahan out there waiting, and the Padres right fielder makes the catch, Bill of the cap high to end the inning. Walking his first time up, ended up being picked off third base to end the first inning. Takes a breaking ball for strike 1 over the inside corner.
8th pickoff recorded by a Cub catcher this year. Most of the National League.
The 1 pitch. High and away, 1-1.
And without knowing, I would guess, a fair number of those, if not most of them, coming with David Ross and John Lester working together because they set plays up when Lester is pitching.
1-1. A swung on ground ball headed to Addison Russell on 2 hops. Shortstop fires in plenty of time to get Jankowski. Even with the speedy Jankowski running, he's easily retired. 6-3. We'll join the Padres in celebrating the 80th anniversary of the Pacific Coast League and legendary Ted Williams on Wednesday, September the 7th. Padres will take on the Red Sox at 6:10. Purchase a special theme game ticket package and receive a limited edition PCL throwback jersey presented by Fanatics. Tickets are at padres.com/theme games. 1 out for Will Myers. And a pitch that is a high strike call. Fastball at 93 miles an hour. Myers grounded out to Chris Bryant at third base in the first inning. 0 for 1. Swung on and grounded foul this time beyond the Cubs dugout, third base way. Myers down 0-2. They talked about it a lot this year, hoping Myers can stay healthy the entire season. Well, most games ever played in the Major League season is 88. Tonight is game number 122 for Will Myers. The All-Star takes a look at the 0-2 and a pitch that just missed. Framed by Contreras, but apparently a tad outside.
And I think it's fair to wonder, and people have, if the workload this year is part of the offensive downturn as of late for Myers.
1-2 pitch. Another good pitch, but called the ball. Arrieta wanted it. 2-2.
Contreras wanted it also. He's chatting away. The plate umpire, Nick Lentz.
Arrieta from the full wind with a 2-2. Swung on, hit on the ground to third base. Chris Bryant's got it. Step or two and a fire across in time to get Myers 2 down. Second time that Myers has been retired 5-3. That's 9 ground ball outs for Jake Arrieta. 3 2/3 innings, only 1 ball hit in the air. The fly out by Ryan Schimpf to right field, so everything on the ground. He's only given up 1 hit, single to Dickerson in the second inning. 2 outs here in the fourth. Yangervis Solarte. And he'll take ball 1. As a team, tonight the Padres are participating in their 126th contest of the year. The record at 53 wins, 72 losses. A 1-0 pitch. He is outside, 2-0. Pitch. And a pop-up foul off to the left out of play. 2-1. Jake Arrieta coming in individually at 15-5 on the year. ERA under 3, 2.75. 25th start of the year. 2-1 pitch from the right-hander. Solarte will take strike 2. Fastball, 94 miles an hour. And deuces are wild on the scoreboard and left. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Pitch swung on and fouled off. Off the thumbs that time by Yangervis Solarte. The pitch jamming him. Still 2-2. Cubs headed to L.A. after this series. That wraps up tomorrow. Swing and a miss. Solarte chases a fastball running up and away from him. Second time he has struck out. The 2 strikeouts Arrieta has. We are through 4 tonight from Petco Park in San Diego. The Padres Cubs have a 1-0 lead. With the 5th we go, and back for us, Jesse Agler.
All right, Don, thanks a lot. The reason it's 1-0 is the guy standing at the plate, Chris Bryant, hit his 33rd homer of the year last time up, and he takes a first pitch fastball from Friedrich that misses. 1 ball and no strikes. Just a run on 4 hits for Chicago, no runs and 1 hit for the Padres against Arrieta. 1-0 to Bryant is pop foul right side. That'll find the seats second level behind the first base dugout. And the count evens 1-1 to Bryant, who walked on 4 pitches his first time up. He is now hit in 6 straight. He is 13 for his last 26 with 5 home runs. That is math I can do, a 500 average. 1-1 fastball outside, 2 balls and a strike. Started in left field last night, hit a solo homer. Starting at third base tonight, hit a solo homer. Chris Bryant, a real deal MVP candidate for the Cubs in the National League. Here's the 2-1 from Friedrich. Good breaking ball, but low. Not by much. And obviously working carefully to Bryant here. 3 balls and a strike. Said it last night, but it really is incredible. The guy was playing up the road at USD like 3 years ago. Absolutely amazing. 3-1 is low outside, ball 4. And for the second time tonight, Chris Bryant walks. He has been on base all 3 times. And the lead man aboard for the Cubbies here in the top half of inning number 5. So they work carefully to Bryant, but of course it doesn't get really any easier now. Anthony Rizzo coming up. Left-handed batter, sure, and 0 for 2 tonight. But still. 4-hit night last night for Rizzo. As lined to right and grounded into the shift here tonight. Nice play by Solarte on the right side of the infield. Rizzo, of course, a former Padre and never hit here at Petco. First pitch of this at-bat is hit well. Right field, Kivlahan going back. He's got room, though. Shy of the warning track, he'll make the catch. Bryant retreats to first base, 1 away. And now Rizzo 0 for 3. Yeah, going into yesterday's game, Rizzo a 167 average here at Petco. And obviously the ballpark plays so differently now than it did when he was here, but those numbers are why the Padres at the time felt comfortable making an exchange for Andrew Kashner. Rizzo wasn't hitting here. Wrigley Field, very different place. Petco Park, now a different place. Hindsight, etc. But when he was here, a 167 average. Zobrist, switch hitter from the right side with 1 out and a runner on first. Obviously, it's a trade that's worked out very well for the Cubs. No question. Takes a pitch in the dirt. Nice job by Bethencourt, keeping it nearby. 1 ball and no strikes. Zobrist 1 for 2. He singled in the first inning and reached on an error by Solarte in the third. Should have been the 3rd out of the inning. Jan Hervis spiked one over to Myers, who could not make the backhanded scoop. Russell then doubled. Hayward popped up, so no real harm, no foul. It only cost Friedrich an extra 4 pitches that inning. Here's the 1-0 to Zobrist. That's a line drive, right center field. It's going to find the gap, and it's going to shoot past everybody. Kivlahan tries to backhand it on the track. It ends up to Jankowski. Rounding third, coming home Bryant. He will score. RBI double for Ben Zobrist. And a 2-0 Chicago lead here in the 5th. Curveball stayed up. Zobrist stayed on it. And he drove it authoritatively the other way. For Zobrist, his 64th RBI of the season, his 27th double of the year. So he's at second base, 1 out, a run in, and the batter will be Addison Russell. He doubled his last time. A ground rule double that actually saved the Padres a run. Takes a fastball low, maybe inside. 1 ball, no strikes. 3 homers in his last 2 games, Addison Russell. 4 in his last 4 coming into tonight. And he's now hit in 7 consecutive games. 1-0 is hit well out to left field. Did Addison Russell do it again? Yes, he did. That one is way out of here. Deep over the left field fence. And Addison Russell has now homered 5 times in his last 5 games. A 2-run shot, and just like that, it's 4-0 Chicago here in the 5th. Boy, when Addison Russell was voted to start the All-Star game at shortstop for the National League, a lot of people chalked it up to Cub fans voting as a block, and certainly they did. But he is putting up some incredible numbers and playing a very good shortstop here in the second half.
Becoming a very complete player and very impressive here, certainly.
Here's Hayward, and he takes a fastball high, 1-0. Russell tonight, 2 for 3, a 2-run homer and a double. Homer and a sac fly last night. And now 82 RBIs, 3 away from the Cubby franchise record for a shortstop. There's a strike on the inner half to Hayward, 1-1. I mean, this is the team of Ernie Banks. They've been playing baseball since, like, Reconstruction. And Addison Russell, unless something catastrophic happens, is going to set their franchise record for runs batted in by a shortstop. Hayward swings, fouls one back to the net. Ball and 2 strikes. Record actually not held by Ernie Banks. Roy Smalley drove in 85 back in 1950. And now 82 for Addison Russell here in 2016. Friedrich ahead of Hayward. Now the 1-2 pitch. He takes, and it's just outside. That was a good breaking ball. Hayward kind of flinched at it. Bethencourt held it there for the plate umpire. Didn't get the call. And the count 2-2. 3 men on the right side of the infield for the Padres. Left-handed batter waits, and the 2-2 to Hayward is on the outside corner. They came back to the curveball. This time hit the edge, and it's strike 3 called. Second strikeout of the night for Friedrich, and the second out of the inning here in the top of the 5th. Hey, back by popular demand, Star Wars Day, Thursday, September 8th, when the Padres take on the Rockies at 7:10. Purchase a special theme game ticket package to receive a Jedi Andy Green bobblehead. Tickets available exclusively at Padres.com/theme games. Gotta ask Andy if he's a Star Wars fan.
Have you got to look at it yet?
Yes.
Does it look like Andy Green?
Yeah. 2 outs, base is empty for Baez, and a big swing and a miss by the Cubs second baseman. Chased a high fastball, 0-1. I don't know that it's as lifelike or as much a resemblance as the Will Myers Ghostbusters bobblehead from earlier this year, but it's in range. It's tough, man. 0-1. Curveball strike on the outside corner, 0-2 to Baez, who has made out each of his first 2 times at the plate tonight. Like a Joe Madden type guy, he's easy on a bobblehead. You go white hair and glasses. 0-2 is low, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, they had the Joe Madden gnome going for a long time in Tampa Bay. It was a big promotional night. Two outs, base is empty, but the Cubs have a 3-run inning going here in the 5th. Friedrich a long look in at Bethencourt, and now into the windup. 1-2 to Javi Baez is fouled off right side out of play. Padres shift 3 men on the left side of the infield. Schimpf, Sardinas, and Solarte all over there. Myers over here on the right side by himself, maybe about 25 feet off the line. Baez grounded into that shift his first time and popped to Myers in his other at-bat. Another 1-2, and this one again is fouled back, this time kind of at the plate. Back to the backstop, still the ball and 2 strikes. Baez playing second base tonight. We saw him make a spectacular play on a double play back in the second inning, handling a poor feed from Addison Russell with a bare hand and turning it. Made the great play on the bunt by Christian Friedrich to start a double play in the third. Made a great play at third base last night. Cubs play some real deal highlight defense. Another foul ball down the right field line out of play, 1-2. Baez was 0 for 7 over the weekend against the Rockies. Last night went 2 for 3 with a couple of singles, a walk,
stole a base. Friedrich trying to finish him off here in the 5th. Christian's got his sign. And the 1-2 to Baez is in the air. Center field, Jankowski racing back into the gap. He was playing deep, though, and a couple of steps shy of the warning track in straightaway center field. He makes the catch. That's all for the Cubs here in the 5th, but they...
1090 Padres Radio Network.
Bottom of the 5th inning now, a 4-0 Cub lead. Alex Dickerson leading off against Jake Arrieta. He takes a fastball outside. Dickerson has the only Padre hit so far tonight. A lead single in the 2nd inning, erased on an inning-ending double play 2 batters later. Arrieta cruising here through 4. Dickerson swings and misses at this fastball. And now 1-1 to the Padre left fielder. Cubs got their first run in the 3rd inning and added 3 more in the top of this 5th. 1-1 from Arrieta to Dickerson is inside and low. 2 balls and a strike. Another fastball to Alex. Arrieta now at just 50 pitches.
That's being economical.
You could say that. Alex swings, tips this one at the plate. Count goes to 2-2.
Double plays have helped. Double play in the 2nd, double play in the 3rd. Only 1 hit, though, so far for the Padres on the night against Arrieta. The single by Dickerson. That's it.
That was leading off the 2nd. Now he's leading off the 5th. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Arrieta stares in, gets the sign, steps into the windup. And the curveball is fouled over towards the Padre dugout, first base side. Still 2-2. Arrieta really doesn't waste any time out on the mound. He gets the ball, gets to the top of the rubber, and says, let's go. Here's the 2-2 to Dickerson. And it's in the dirt. Now full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. He's got his little ticks, don't get me wrong, a lot to the front of the brim of the cap, and he wears that flat brim. Goes to the beard a little bit. But for the most part, he is ready to go before the batter. Dickerson, a left-handed batter, waits. He has worked the count full against Arrieta. And the payoff pitch is in the dirt, ball 4. So Alex Dickerson has been aboard both times against Jake Arrieta. That's the 3rd walk that he has issued here tonight to go with the 1 hit. And the leadoff man aboard for the 3rd time in 5 innings for the Padres. This time hoping to be able to do something with it. With Solarte, Dickerson, and Schimpf hitting 3, 4, and 5. Switch hitter and 2 left-handed bats. Padres can stack the 3 lefties here against Arrieta. Solarte made the last out of the last inning, so Dickerson walks. Now Schimpf. And the first pitch to him is a little bit low, maybe outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Padres trailing 4-0 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Home runs by Chris Bryant again and Addison Russell again. Here's the 1-0. Schimpf checks his swing, pitch down by his back foot. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, Dickerson, as you would imagine, a very short lead over at first base. Down 4 runs here, middle innings. No reason for him to try and push the issue here. Padres hoping they can string a couple of hits together or get a big hit. Arrieta set at the belt, and the 2-0 to Schimpf is fouled back to the screen. Took a big hack at an outside fastball, and the count 2-1. Arrieta, in his first 14 starts this year, went 11-2 and had a 1.74 ERA. Last 9 starts, he's been more human, 4-3 record and an ERA about 4.5. But so far tonight, just the hit and the 3 walks through 4+. Schimpf waits. He hits this one out to center field. Fowler's got a long way to go. Dexter running back. He is on the warning track. He is at the wall, and he'll make the catch. Up against the wall in straightaway center field. Dexter Fowler hauls in Ryan Schimpf's long fly ball. Dickerson back to first, one away, and that's what you call just missing it.
Deepest part of the ballpark out there, and Schimpf sent it a long way during the day. I think that ball is gone, but not here, not tonight, as it comes up just short of the wall in center field. Fowler with no more room to work with out there in center field.
Took a little bit of a hop back as he made the catch, and his back hit the wall. Now Christian Bethancourt, inning-ending double play back in the second. He's 0 for 1. And Arrieta's first pitch to him is a curveball in the dirt. Checked his swing, and they'll appeal to first. He held up. 1 ball and no strikes. Mentioned earlier that Contreras is catching Arrieta for the second consecutive outing. Joe Madden wants to sort of build as much familiarity as he can with these different guys. We saw David Ross last night. He's the personal catcher for John Lester. That goes back to their Boston days. But they got Miguel Montero, and he's worked a lot with Arrieta, but he wants everybody to feel comfortable with everyone. 1-0 grounded left side. At third base, Bryant has it to second for 1. Relay to first. Got him. For the second time in as many at-bats, Christian Bethancourt grounds into an inning-ending double play, this time 5-4-3. The lead walk to Dickerson does not come back to bite Arrieta. We'll go to the 6th inning. Cubs on top, no runs, a hit, 3 walks. Friedrich facing Wilson Contreras, the number 8 hitter. And the Chicago catcher takes just outside with a fastball, 1-0. Friedrich, for his part, he's hanging tough. 83 pitches as he gets ready to throw his second offering of this 6th inning. Went 7 last time out, or into the 7th his last time out. Misses outside here, 2-0. Christian has lost his last 7 decisions. Some of that is undoing, his own doing. Some of it, the bad breaks that go along with being a starting pitcher. 2-0 to Contreras. Big swing and a foul ball at the plate. That one caught Christian Bethancourt one way or another. 2-1. Last win for Friedrich was in Cincinnati on June 23rd. Cubs continuing to do what they do. They have now hit at least 2 home runs in each of their last 7 games. You don't say that very often about a team. Here's the 2-1 to Contreras, and Friedrich's curveball hits the outside edge for a called strike, 2-2. Think about that. At least 2 homers now in 7 straight games. And they've scored at least 3 runs now in each of their last 22 games. Long story short, it's not an accident. They're 79 and 45. 2-2 to Contreras, and a little bit outside with the fastball. So the count fills up. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Contreras officially 1 for 1 tonight. He had that double off of Joe West, and he also walked. Friedrich has the sign from Bethancourt into the wind, and the pitch is grounded to shortstop. Sardinius on an in-between hop, has it, wastes no time, and makes a perfect throw. Over to Will Myers at first base, 1 away, as Contreras retired for the first time tonight. Again, just our second look at Luis Sardinius, second base last night, shortstop tonight, but very, very quick.
Really like what we see so far from him. Good range both to his left and right as well.
One out, base is empty for the pitcher Arrieta. 0 for 2, fly out and a strikeout. One of 2 punch outs for Friedrich here this evening. And the first pitch a little bit low with a fastball. 1-0 to Arrieta. In his career, Arrieta 4 homers, 5 doubles, 2 triples. Here's the 1-0. Big swing. Came up empty. 1 ball and 1 strike. Arrieta bats as he throws right-handed. Bright white batting gloves. Takes a curveball strike. Now 1-2. The 0 for 2 has lowered his batting average from 265 to 255. Ball and 2 strikes. Friedrich's pitch is hit in the air right field. Kind of a long run for Kivlahan over and towards the line. He is on the run, reaches back, and it falls behind him in fair territory. It rolls away from him. Arrieta's on his way to third base, and he'll hold up there with a standing triple. They might call it an error on Kivlahan, but I don't know that he made contact with the ball. He overran it. It dropped in behind him, rolled away from him, and they're going to give him the 3-base hit. It's been an adventurous couple of nights in right field for Patrick Kivlahan.
He talked about it before the game today. Trouble in the corner and trouble down the right field line. That's where he's had the most problems down there, and that just happened.
So technically the third triple of Jake Arrieta's career. Second time tonight, Kivlahan has had trouble with the ball down there. Made the play the first time. But it's been adventurous, and now the Padres bring the infield in. Frankly, there should be 2 outs with the bases empty, but instead, Dexter Fowler at the plate with 1 out and a runner on third. Fastball low, 1-0. If that ball got another 2 feet away from Kivlahan, Arrieta had a shot at the inside the park homer. 1-0, fastball inside. 2 balls and no strikes. And now Darren Balsley going to run out there and have a chat with his southpaw starter.
Friedrich had 94 pitches working here with 1 out in the 6th inning, and the Padres do have action. Brandon Morrow warming in the pen right now for San Diego.
So Balsley able to deliver a message to Friedrich, also get a little bit of time for Morrow to warm up. Plate umpire Nick Lentz. Minor league fill-in for Andy Fletcher breaks up the meeting out on the mound, and everybody slowly retreats to their positions on the diamond. Count is 2-0 to Fowler. Padres have all 4 infielders in with Arrieta at third and 1 away. 4-0 Cubs here in the top of the 6th. Here's the 2-0 to Fowler. It's in the dirt, ball 3. Chris Bryant's waiting on deck. Homer and a couple of walks. You were talking about it, Don. Right field for Kivlahan, he says, has been a challenge in that corner, and it's not a straightforward corner with that Petco porch jutting out. And if it's unfamiliar to you, it can certainly be a little bit daunting, I think. But a play that's got to be made. 3-0 is inside with a fastball, and Dexter Fowler aboard for the first time tonight. He had grounded out twice and flown to Kivlahan, but now he walks, and there'll be runners on the corners with 1 away, and Bryant coming to the plate. We'll see if he gets the opportunity to face Christian Friedrich or not. Here comes Andy Green. So here with 1 out in the 6th and runners on the corners, the Padre manager will go to his bullpen. Brandon Morrow has been heating up. He will be summoned to face Chris Bryant with Dexter Fowler at first, Jake Arrieta at third, and 1 away in the top half of the 6th inning. Cubs have a 4-0 lead. They are looking to add on. So Bryant stands in 1 for 1. That does not tell the whole story. Walk, homer, walk. He has scored twice. And, of course, one of the most dangerous hitters in all of baseball. A ground ball would do for Brandon Morrow and Christian Friedrich. Cubs trying to add on to the 4-0 lead here in the top of the 6th. Morrow comes set at the belt, and the first pitch is a little bit high and tight with the fastball. 1-0. Morrow, of course, injured for most of the season, then some time at AAA El Paso, and now a few opportunities with the Padres here in the bullpen late this season. Working from the stretch, set at the belt, and hits the outside edge with an 87-mile-per-hour slider. And the count evens 1-1 to Bryant. Fowler at first, Arrieta at third, 1 away. One. Ground ball foul back towards the Cub dugout on the third base side. He was out in front of a changeup there. And now Morrow in front of Chris Bryant, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Prior to this recall from AAA El Paso, which took place 10 days ago, Morrow last pitched in the big leagues last year on May 2nd here against the Rockies. Padres' best starting pitcher in the first month of the season a year ago. Bryant skies this one to center field. Jankowski coming in. It's relatively deep. Arrieta is tagging at third. Jankowski makes the catch, and Arrieta will come in and score. So a sacrifice fly off the bat of Chris Bryant. He drives in his second run of the night. Arrieta crosses the plate. Fowler returns to first, and now a 5-0 lead for the Cubs. 2 outs in the top of the 6th.
Now Friedrich still responsible for the runner at first base and Fowler, but so far charged with the 5 runs in 5 of the third innings.
Here's Anthony Rizzo. Ben Zobrist is on deck, and Zobrist, from his American League days, Tampa Bay especially, the only guy who's seen Morrow a lot, and Morrow has really handled him nicely. But, of course, Morrow hoping not to face Ben Zobrist here in the 6th inning. He would love to get Rizzo and end the inning. 5-0 Cubs, 2 outs, Fowler at first, and a check on him over there. Goes back in with the head-first dive. Yeah, Zobrist 34 at-bats against Morrow, just 6 hits, a 176 average. He would be next. Big Anthony Rizzo kind of wobbling back and forth in the batter's box, takes a fastball strike, top of the zone. 0-1. Cubs in the blue alternate tops tonight with the gray pants. Padres in the home whites. And Rizzo wearing that familiar number 44 back into the box. Fowler, normal-sized lead at first base. And Morrow's 1-strike pitch is fouled back to the screen. 0-2. Cubs now 5 runs, 7 hits, and the Padres still just the 1 base hit against Jake Arrieta through 5. He has walked 3. Morrow ahead of Rizzo. Big shift on the right side. Schimpf is all the way out on the outfield grass. Morrow set at the belt, throws to first. Fowler again kind of flops back into first base. Now Morrow turns his attention back to Rizzo. Brandon set. Bethancourt sets up inside. And the 0-2 pitch is swung on and missed. That's a nice one from Morrow. Looked like a hard biting slider. And he strikes out Anthony Rizzo to end the inning. The Cubs add just 1 more. And then they got Jake Arrieta out there. 5 innings, 1 hit allowed by the Chicago ace. Patrick Kivlahan leading off, bottom third of the San Diego order. 5-0 Cubs in the bottom of the 6th. First pitch to Kivlahan is a fastball strike on the inner half. 0-1. Kivlahan in a sort of roundabout way, at least partly responsible for the add-on run the Cubs got in the top of this inning. Misplayed a fly ball by Arrieta in right field. It went for a triple. And Arrieta would end up scoring on a sac fly. 0-1 to Kivlahan is outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. But Brandon Morrow came in, did a nice job getting those last 2 outs, even though the run did score on the sac fly. And that closes the book on Christian Friedrich. 1 ball and 1 strike to Kivlahan. He waits, and Arrieta's curveball is fouled back to the screen. 1-2. Friedrich 5 1/3. He allows 5 runs on 7 hits. All the runs were earned. Walked 4, struck out 2, and gave up 2 home runs. 96 pitches thrown tonight for Christian Friedrich. And again, what could be his final start of 2016. Ball and 2 strikes from Arrieta to Kivlahan, and the pitch is swung on and missed. Tried to check his swing, could not. Plate umpire didn't need to ask for help. Nick Lentz rings him up. Strikeout number 3 for Arrieta, and 1 down in the bottom of the 6th. This season, every time the Padres catch a runner stealing, Bay Alarm will donate $100 to the Padres Foundation. With Bay Alarm, you're protected 24/7, and you can manage your system wherever you go. For a free security review, go to bayalarm.com. Bay Alarm, your local security experts. 1 out for Luis Sardinas. Switch hitter batting from the left side against Arrieta. He takes outside. 1-0. Sardinas walked in his first plate appearance last night in his Padre debut. 1 for 3. Takes a high fastball here. 2 balls and no strikes. Pitcher's spot is next, and Alexei Ramirez has moved into the on-deck circle. .2-0 pitch to Sardinius is off the bat in the air, foul down the left field line. So now 2 balls and 1 strike.
Kevin Quackenbush in the bullpen right now for the Padres, and he's been very good the last few times out. A much sharper curveball than when he last was sent back down to El Paso.
Yeah, the Padres saw something, and they said, hey, this guy needs a little bit of time to himself, just from a rest standpoint. 2-1 to Sardinius is low. And so let's send him down to AAA, and it's not to pitch every day. It's to really rest the arm and get him in situationally when they want to keep him fresh. And the results have really been outstanding, and that's pretty much what they're trying with Ryan Buchter right now as well. 3-1 to Sardinius. Arrieta deals, and the pitch is popped up behind the plate. That'll find the seats. Contreras, the catcher, gave it a look, but no shot. And now a full count to Luis Sardinius, batting here with the bases empty and 1 out in the bottom half of inning number 6. Sardinius choked up a little bit from the left side. He waits, and the 3-2 pitch is off the end of that. Grounded to shortstop. Russell charging in. He's got the gun. Throws across and gets him for the second out of the inning. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
We got 11 ground ball outs, or 5 2/3 for Jake Arrieta.
When he's at his best, that's what it is.
Stuff on the ground, yeah. 3 strikeouts mixed in, too.
2 outs, bases empty. Pinch hitter is Alexei Ramirez. And the first pitch to him is a ground ball at shortstop. Russell has it, throw to first, and a 1-2-3 6th inning for Arrieta. Strikeout and a couple of ground balls to his shortstop. He protects the lead, and it still Bush becomes the second reliever used by Andy Green after Christian Friedrich went into the 6th. Brandon Morrow got the last couple of outs last inning, and so now Quackenbush here in the 7th. 4, 5, and 6 due up for the Cubs as Quack tries to hold this to a 5-0 Chicago advantage. And back on the mic, here's Don Orsillo.
All right, Jesse, thanks very much. As Brandon Morrow ended up going 2/3 of an inning, getting the last 2 outs of the 6th inning. Allowed one of the 2 inherited runners to score, so that was charged to Christian Friedrich, as Friedrich went 5 1/3, allowing 5 runs, and he is on the hook with the Cubs on top 5-0, coming to bat here in the 7th inning. Ben Zobrist leading it off, and the first pitch of the inning is in there for strike 1. Fastball registering at 91 miles an hour. Zobrist 2 for 3 in the game. A single and a double, run driven in. And he'll take a strike over the outside corner. Quickly 0-2. Padres run the shift with the shortstop Sardinius on the right side, but now 2 strikes. They move Solarte defensively from third base to the right side, and Sardinius moves over to the left side alone. 0-2 pitch will bounce in for ball 1. Mentioned Quackenbush has pitched better lately for the Padres. This is his 3rd stint in the major leagues this year with San Diego, so back and forth to El Paso. 1-2 pitch, swung on, fly ball hit to left field. Dickerson's got a beat on it, and he makes the catch, running back into his right for the first out here of the 7th inning. So Zobrist flying out to the Padres left fielder, and that'll bring up Addison Russell. Russell's had another good night. After flying out to right field in the first, he doubled in the 3rd and then homered a 2-run shot in the 5th. Swings here, the first pitch, and lifts the fly ball to center field. Travis Jankowski's in and under, and makes the catch out there in center for out number 2. 2 fly ball outs here for Quackenbush in the top of the 7th inning, and that'll bring up Jason Hayward. And it's only hitting at .235 this year against Quackenbush. He's pitching well in his time at AAA. At a 2.08 ERA with El Paso. His first pitch is high, elevated for ball one to Jason Hayward. Hayward 0 for 3 in the game, is grounded out, popped out, and struck out. Jumps back out of the way, and fastball inside, 2-0. They're shifting on Hayward on the right side of the infield. And again, it is Solarte, the third baseman, who goes to the right side. 2-0 delivery, swung on, hit high and deep to right field. Kivlahan is back. It is up and off the base of the wall. Ricochet to Jankowski, the center fielder, who fires in. But Jason Hayward stands at second base with a 2-out double. Nearly got it out of the yard, but off the base of the wall in right center field for his first hit of the night, and it's an extra base hit.
Joe Maddon's got to feel very pleased with the way Jason Hayward has swung the bat the last couple of nights. The much-discussed 4-game break. And when he homered last night here, the dugout, they said it was ecstatic. As excited as they've been at any point this season. They pull very hard for this guy. They feel for him. And they want him improving down there, and maybe he's doing just that.
So Hayward at second base with 2 down. Javier Baez 0 for 3 in the game. And he'll take a pitch up high, ball one. That breaking ball didn't do much, missed high. Padres baseball is brought to you by Petco. Petco, your complete pet store with all the nutrition, supplies, and services you need to support the health and well-being of your pet. Javier Baez waits on a 1-0, and he'll take it for a strike right down the middle. So Baez batting with Hayward at second base, 2 down here in the 7th inning. Outfield deep and straight away on the Cubs second baseman. 1-1 pitch. Swung on, hit on the ground to third base. Solarte will fire to first, throw off the mark. It pulls Myers, but he did keep the foot on the bag long enough, according to Mark Rippinger, the first base umpire. Not a good throw. Solarte has been struggling throwing, and it looked like he pulled Myers off. And we'll see if the Cubs are going to challenge this or not. I think they probably should. Now we're getting a look here on the replay. It looks like Myers may have had the foot on the bag. This is the last of the 7th inning, and the top of the Padres order, Travis Jankowski leading it off, swinging at the first pitch, and fouling it off to the left out of play. Third plate appearance of the night for Jankowski. Walked. He's picked off third base in the first inning, and then grounded out to short in the 4th inning. Waiting on an 0-1 pitch from Jake Arrieta. Arrieta, 72 pitches. Dealing with his first hitter of the 7th inning, and highly economical. Grooves a 92-mile-an-hour fastball in there for a strike, and it's quickly 0-2.
So, Don, by my quick count, 15 innings in this series so far for the Padres offensively.
0-2 pitch, a curveball. Strikes out Jankowski out on that front foot. And that is strikeout number 4 for Arrieta, first out of the 7th inning.
So ignoring this current inning that we're in, 15 innings have been played offensively for the Padres, and they have had multiple base runners in just 3 of those 15. Lester was outstanding last night, pitched into the 7th, allowed just the 1 run. And here's Arrieta through 6 1/3, just 1 hit.
Now 1 down, 5 in a row. Retired now by Arrieta. Will Myers will take ball 1, a little bit low apparently. Close pitch.
Tomorrow, Kyle Hendricks, maybe not as big of a name as Arrieta or Lester, but a 2.19 ERA.
Arrieta has retired 11 of the last 12 Padres. 1-0 pitch, foul to the screen, and it evens at 1-1. Myers tonight has done the same thing twice. It's ground out to third base, and both times Chris Bryant up to the task. Tired 5-3 in the first, and then again in the 4th inning. 5-0. Cubs on top. Padres batting last of the 7th. 1-1 pitch. And Myers will take it high for ball 2. Yeah, day baseball here tomorrow. Finale of the homestand. Padres heading out on a 3-city tour once again. A 2-1 pitch. And Myers will take that, a high strike call that evens the count at 2-2. Outfield straight away on Myers. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and a fly ball to left field. Broken bat. Zobrist out there to make the catch. The barrel of the bat ended up around shortstop, but Zobrist coming in from left field easily makes a grab out there, and Myers retired on the flyout. And that got in on the hands of Myers, and the bat breaks in half and heads out to shortstop. But the ball caught out in left field by Zobrist, 2 down. Seven in a row, 12 of the last 13 for Arrieta. And it brings up Yangervis Solarte. 0 for 2, has struck out twice. And he takes ball 1. It's not been a huge strikeout night for Arrieta. Did strike out Jankowski to begin this inning and has 4 strikeouts in the game. It's walk 3. Solarte fouls it off to the left, and it evens at 1-1.
It's always different, I think, and interesting to watch a guy dominate without a strikeout. You know, I mean, not that he doesn't have a strikeout, but that's not the game. So often I feel like when you see the power pitchers today really go out there and shove, it's with the strikeout.
1-1 straightens up Solarte inside on a fastball.
It's a little bit of a throwback, you know, for Arrieta. Guys like, yeah, go ahead and put it in play. He's got confidence in the sinker that you're not going to be able to do much with it, and he's gotten the results.
Yeah, as a result, a lot of ground ball outs in this game tonight. Arrieta dealing, ready with a 2-1 pitch. On the ground, couple of hops to the second baseman, Baez. Throw to first, and plenty of time. And another easy inning for Arrieta. Starting 82 pitches through 7 innings in this game. Padres down in order. Takes over for Kevin Quackenbush. The Villanueva into his 47th game of the year. 2-2 earned run average at 6. Wilson Contreras leading it off for the Cubs and takes a breaking ball. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Contreras doubled in the second. Walked in the fourth. Grounded out to shortstop in the 6th inning. The 1 pitch up and away, and it's a ball and a strike. Villanueva has added to his look a little bit. He's added a Raleigh Fingers type mustache. Is that new? I hadn't noticed that before. The 1-1 pitch is in there for a strike, 1-2.
It's been kind of on and off the last couple of weeks. We've seen it once or twice in a game.
I didn't notice.
Not consistently. Yeah. Well, you've had some time off.
Contreras bats now. Arrieta waits on deck. Here's a 1-2. Swung on, hit on the ground, and through the right side into right field, a base hit. Wilson Contreras with a single and his 2nd hit of the night. 3rd time the Cubs backstop has been aboard in this game. So leadoff single for Contreras, and it brings up Arrieta. A triple his last time up. The ball that misplayed in right field by Patrick Kivlahan. He would come around to score on the sac fly off the bat of Chris Bryant. It's all part of a Cubs 5-0 lead. Arrieta takes a fastball high. The next inning, here comes the lumber due up for the Padres. It'll be Dickerson, Schimpf, and Bethencourt. Presented by Dixie Line Lumber and Home Centers, serving builders, contractors, and homeowners for over 100 years. Here's a 1-0 and a foul back. And nice catch right below us and to the right. And in the first row, terrace level in front of the press box. Ball and a strike to Arrieta. Villanueva deals. And a check swing. Did he go? No, says first base umpire Mark Rippinger.
I thought he went.
I did too.
Take a look at the replay here from the side, and Arrieta, he went.
So Arrieta ahead now in the count, 2-1. Short lead at first for Contreras, has not run terribly well. And the pitch is a tad low, 3-1. It's Arrieta now. Fowler waiting on deck. Villanueva to the belt, and a 3-1 pitch coming. Swinging a foul tip into the catcher's mitt. Full count. Dexter Fowler on deck. Nobody out, 8th inning. 5-0 Chicago. 3-2 pitch. Swung on, fly ball to right. Kivlahan back a few steps and over will make the catch in right field for the first out of the inning. And back to the bag at first goes Contreras. So this time Arrieta flying out to Kivlahan, and Kivlahan able to make the catch out there in right. One down, and Dexter Fowler coming up. 5 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Cubs. They've left 8 men on base. Padres, no runs, 1 hit. They've made an error, and they've not left anybody on base.
Arrieta has faced the minimum, despite the 3 walks and a hit.
1 out, 1 on, and Fowler takes strike 1.
Pickoff in the first inning to erase a base runner. Double play in the second to erase a base runner. Double play in the third to erase a base runner. Double play in the 5th to erase a base runner.
0-1 to Fowler. In the dirt. Ball gets away briefly from Bethancourt, trying to take second, and doing so successfully is Contreras. Saw the ball in the dirt, took off, and he gets to second base. Bethancourt was kind of playing with one knee down, a la Benito Santiago, former Padres catcher. And that time after he blocked it, came up throwing, but had to hop out of that crouch. And Contreras takes second base. A little slow to get up at second is Contreras.
Yeah, you'll normally only see catchers do that, the guys who do it with the bases empty. And it was kind of a late thing that Bethancourt did there. I don't know if that was his way to maybe try and get down and block that ball or what, but didn't work out.
Ball and a strike to Fowler, and he is showing bunt. And he fouls it off at the dish. Ends up behind him.
That one caught the plate umpire, Nick Lentz, on the foot. A better result for the Padres than when the ball hit Joe West on the foot back in the second inning. This time just a foul ball.
So it's 1-2. Leadoff single to begin the inning for Contreras. Wild pitch has got him to second. Arrieta had flied out to right. 1 on, 1 out. And a 1-2 to Dexter Fowler. That's outside. 2-2. Paul Clemens will be on the mound tomorrow for the Padres in the day game. Finale of the series. Finale of the homestand. Clemens 2-2. And again, Kyle Hendricks, a right-hander on the other side, 11-7, but a nifty 2.19 ERA. Pitch swung on and missed. And striking out is Dexter Fowler. First K for Villanueva is out number 2 of the 8th inning. And a slider able to get Villanueva for the second out of the inning. 2 down, and Chris Bryant. He has walked, homered, walked and scored, and had a sacrifice fly. Home run was his 33rd of the year. It was off Christian Friedrich back in the 3rd inning. Sac fly was off Brandon Morrow. A charge to Friedrich. There's an inherited runner. And time call. Villanueva has been going back and forth with Bethancourt and now calls Bethancourt out to the mound to talk it over. Can't make a mistake here with Chris Bryant up. Conversation over. Done and done. Villanueva with the pitch, and it's down low. $33,614 are here tonight. 33,614 for Game 2 of the 3-game series. A little more tonight than last night. 1-0 is up high. Ball 2, 2-0.
And you mentioned Game 3 of the series tomorrow afternoon, 12:40. It's one of the way back Wednesdays. So the Padres will be in those throwback 91 to 01 era uniforms. Pinstripes with the blue and the orange.
2-0 pitch. Swung on. High fly ball off the bat of Bryant. Jankowski going back onto the track. At the wall. He'll make the catch right in front of the wall. So Chris Bryant gives another one a long ride to deep left center field, but Jankowski's back there, and he reels it in to end the top of the 8th inning. Cubs leave a runner at second base. We have a stretch right now where he has retired 8 Padres in a row. Alex Dickerson leads it off for the Padres and swings at the first pitch, fouling it straight back to the screen. Alex Dickerson has been aboard twice. He has the only Padres hit. Single to right field in the 2nd inning. And then he would walk in the 5th inning. One of 3 walks allowed by Arrieta in his outing. Pitch is down low, and it evens at 1-1 to Dickerson. Mentioned the 3 walks, but there have been 3 double plays turned by the Cubs in this game. 1-1 pitch. Dickerson will take that for strike 2, right on the inside corner. It's been a 6-4-3 twin killing, a 4-6-3 double play, and a 5-4-3 double play turned by the Cubs in this game. 1-2. Swung on and missed, and Dickerson strikes out. It's 5 Ks for Arrieta, and 1 down here in the last of the 8th.
Talking about those double plays, one of them stands out to me, and it's the 4-6-3 double play on the bunt by Christian Friedrich back in the 3rd inning. Charging like a first baseman from second, Javi Baez just made a sensational play. And he was part of another really nice effort on the first double play with that bare hand snag. Showing off the defense tonight.
1 down here in the 8th inning. Pitch in there for strike 1 to Ryan Schimpf. 13 ground ball outs for Jake Arrieta. Schimpf has flied out to right, flied out to center. 5th inning, that fly ball to center field sent Dexter Fowler to the wall. But he made the catch. Arrieta's 0-1 pitch. Down and in, almost hit him. Ball and a strike to Ryan Schimpf will be followed by Christian Bethancourt coming up next. Pitch on the way, and that's outside. Maybe a tad high. Schimpf with 14 home runs on the year. Waiting on a 2-1. And that's inside, ball 3. Arrieta looking for his 16th win of the year and his 25th start of the season. 15-5 coming in. It's done nothing to hurt his earned run average either. 2.75 ERA coming in. It's not giving up a run. Pitch is swung on and missed by Schimpf. Fastball by him at 93. So a full count. 1 out, bases empty. Cubs on top, 5-0. Arrieta kicks and fires with a payoff pitch, and that is popped up foul off to the right out of play. One out here in the 8th. 9 in a row retired by Jake Arrieta. And a ground ball right side to the outfield. Grass goes by as he twists and fires in time. Able to get Ryan Schimpf. Nice rangy play by Javier Baez. He headed out to short right field, about 2 strides on the outfield grass, spun, did a 360, and then fired to first. In time to get Ryan Schimpf 4-3, 2 down.
I mean, that was nonchalant in a good way, like in an impressive way. It was not routine, it was not easy, it was not simple, and he made it look like all of those things.
That's a play that reminds me of Robinson Cano a lot. Play that he makes for the Seattle Mariners. 2 down in the 8th inning brings up Christian Bethancourt. And he lines one down the left field line. Hot shot, a 1-hopper, 2-hopper to the wall. Zobrist will get it back in quickly, but Bethancourt sliding into second base with a 2-out double. Second hit for the Padres, and that brings up a string of 10 in a row retired by Arrieta. First hit for the Padres since the 2nd inning, and Bethancourt wasn't waiting around. Jumped on the first pitch that he sees. Connects for his 9th double of the year.
So Arrieta will not face the minimum tonight unless somehow Bethancourt is picked off of second base, and it's hard to imagine a scenario in which he puts himself in that position.
2 down, Bethancourt at second, and Patrick Kivlehan standing in on the right side. Breaking ball, missing inside for ball 1. Kivlehan grounding out to third base in the 3rd. Struck out swinging in the 6th inning. Arrieta with the 1-0. Swung on a miss. Fastball. It's been at 93, and again that one by him. 1-1. Downfield straight away on Kivlehan. Open stance from the right side. Deep in the box. And a swing and a miss. Lead on the fastball. Again, 1-2. Padres being shut out with 2 outs here in the 8th inning. 5-0. But they have Christian Bethancourt at second base. Kivlehan waiting on a 1-2 pitch. Here it comes. Swung on a miss. Breaking ball in the dirt. Gets away briefly from Contreras. And out number 3 as Kivlehan strikes out. That's 6 strikeouts for Jake Arrieta, who has gone the first 8 innings. And into the game. It's part of a double switch. Adam Rosales takes over in right field for Patrick Kivlehan. And as we move to the 9th, back for us, Jesse Agler.
All right, thanks a lot. Rizzo, Zobrist, and Russell. And trying to keep this a 5-0 game. And first pitch, slider from Brad Hand. Is a called strike on the outside corner to Rizzo. 0-1. Rizzo had 4 hits last night, 0 for 4 here this evening. Maybe those monsters of years past here at Petco coming back to him a little bit. 0-1 slider. Breaks down hard and is a called strike at the knees. 0-2. Big shift on the right side against Rizzo. He's grounded into it once tonight, twice in the air to right field, and once struck out. That was back in the 6th inning against Morrow. Here's the 0-2 to Rizzo. That's way high outside. Fastball misses from Hand at 94 miles per hour, and the count 1-2. I guess the big question right now is whether or not Jake Arrieta comes out for the 9th inning. He's thrown 99 pitches, just the 2 hits allowed. But Felix Pena is warming in the Cub bullpen. And Arrieta appears to be getting hugs in the Cub dugout. That might be the answer, but 8 shutout innings from Arrieta. 2 hits. Here's the 1-2 to Rizzo. Takes in the dirt. They want an appeal at third base, but they're not even going to get that. He definitely held up. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. We last saw Brad Hand on Friday night against the Diamondbacks. Got a couple of pop-ups in the 7th inning. part of the 7-4 10-inning win. Ryan Schimpf with the pair of big home runs in that game, one in the 8th and the walk-off in the 10th. Here's the 2-2 to Rizzo, swinging a hard ground ball into the shift right side. That's Solarte with it. Third baseman throws to first, gets him. And Rizzo retired for the 5th time here tonight. 0 for 5, one down in the top of the 9th. Padres Baseball is brought to you by MetaFast. Visit MetaFastCalifornia.com and download your coupon to save $100 off your MetaFast Weight Control Centers program. So Rizzo out, now Zobrist. Switch hitter back to the right side here against Brad Hand. 2 for 4 on the night. RBI double, run scored, single, reached on an error. And he takes a first pitch fastball that's down and in. 1 ball and no strikes. Don mentioned the double switch that puts Rosales in right field into the 9th spot, so he'll bat second in the 9th. And this is Adam Rosales' first appearance as a Padre in right field. Played 1 game in left earlier this year. 1 appearance in left. He did not start. 1-0. That's a fastball strike at the knees. 1-1. Rosales has played all over the diamond in his career. And actually, this will be the very first time in right. He's played shortstop, left field, third base, second base, first base. He's pitched a couple of times. But Rosales replaces Kivlahan in right. There's the 1-1. That's reached for, golfed into left field. Going to be a base hit for Zobrist. Dickerson comes over to cut it off, and Zobrist takes a wide turn, but he'll be content with a single. 3rd hit of the night for Ben Zobrist. And a 1-out single here in the 9th off of Brad Hand. Gets Addison Russell to the plate, and he has had another big night. Russell crawls into the right-handed batter's box. 2 for 4, 2-run homer in the 5th. He also doubled in the 3rd. First pitch to him, and Russell takes low outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Zobrist at first base being held by Myers. Padres have Schimpf, the second baseman, played pretty much up the middle, but still on the quote-unquote normal side of second base. And a long pause. Now the 1-0 to Russell, and a big swing and a miss. He went fishing after a 93-mile-per-hour fastball. Count evens, 1 ball and 1 strike. Cubs outscoring the Padres 5-0, out hitting the Padres 10-2 as Chicago bats in the top of the 9th. Russell waits, Hand comes set, and the 1-1 pitch is grounded to short. Should be 2. Sardinez flips to Schimpf to first, not in time. But Addison Russell, among other things, runs very, very well, and the Padres not quite quick enough up the middle, and maybe the ball not hit quite hard enough to turn the double play. So the inning continues, 2 outs, Russell at first, and Jason Hayward will come to the plate. Hayward doubled his last time, 1 for 4. Struck out looking in the 5th, 1 of 2 strikeouts for Christian Friedrich. And he takes a fastball low from Brad Hand. 1 ball and no strikes. 95 from Brad Hand. You've seen the velocity go up as the season has gone on, and he's done a really, really nice job out of the bullpen. And he'll get the opportunity this weekend to face a team that really gave up on him, the Miami Marlins. Here's the 1-0 to Hayward. And a ground ball, second base. Solarte is there in the shift. He's got it. Throws to Myers. And the side is retired. So another uneventful inning of relief for Brad Hand. A hit and a man left. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Last 3 men, struck out 6. And faced 1 more than the minimum. Retired 10 of the last 11 Padres to come to the plate. Arrieta threw 99 pitches, which actually ends a run of 5 consecutive starts where he threw at least 100 pitches. But Joe Madden seeing no reason, I suppose, to run him back out there to try and get the complete game, get the shutout with the team up 5-0. So Felix Pena comes on for his second Major League appearance, made his big league debut over the weekend in Denver. He was the closer at AAA Iowa, and he delivers a first pitch fastball for a called strike to switch hitting Luis Sardinas. 0-1. Fastball at 95 from Pena. Stands with both heels on the back of the rubber. Comes home, and Sardinas swings and misses. Fastball in on the hands, quickly 0-2. Sardinas walked in his first plate appearance, grounded to short in the 6th inning, so he's 0 for 1. Arrieta, in his 8 shutout innings, faced just 1 over the minimum. 0-2. Sardinas able to hold up on the swing. Takes the fastball high outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Again, there were 2 hits, 3 walks, but a pickoff and 3 double plays turned by the Cub defense. 1-2 is in the dirt. And now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Sardinas.
Adam for 14 ground ball outs.
Cubs trying to pick up their 80th win of the season. Sardinas waits for the 2-2. He takes in the dirt. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Pena in his second Major League game. Sardinas in his second Padre game. Looked impressive defensively. Got on base last night. Got on base here tonight. Trying to do it again. The 3-2 pitch is outside, ball 4. So for the second time tonight, Luis Sardinas draws a walk, this time to lead off the bottom of the 9th inning. And Adam Rosales will come to the plate for the first time tonight. Rosales came into play right field in the top of this inning as part of a double switch. Adam hitting .211 on the year, 8 homers, 24 RBIs. Got the start last night at third base before he was double switched out of the game. Cubs are not holding Sardinas on. You got to figure he takes second base here pretty early in the Rosales at bat. And the first pitch misses low outside, 1-0. Adam kind of steps halfway out of the box, takes a deep breath. Obviously the first time that he is seeing Felix Pena. Here's the 1-0 and a ground ball base hit through the left side. So Sardinas walks, Rosales singles, and the Padres have the first 2 men aboard here in the bottom of the 9th and the top of the batting order coming to the plate. Pena's big league debut was on Friday in Denver. Through the 9th inning, a couple of strikeouts kept the game tied 5-5. Mentioned he was closing some, relieving a bunch for AAA Iowa. Big-time strikeout guy. 81 Ks in 63rd and a third. So the Padres trying to put a dent in it here in the bottom of the 9th. Aroldis Chapman, though, is warming in case Pena gets himself in some more trouble. Jankowski takes a first pitch breaking ball. That's a called strike, 0-1.
Chapman was up in last night's game as well.
If Jankowski reaches, it becomes a save situation. The 0-1 to Travis. Breaking ball swung on and missed. Quickly, 0-2. He's got the fastball, 94-95, and then a good slider. They see a lot of break on it. About 80, 81 miles per hour. Sardinas at second, Rosales at first. Nobody out in the bottom of the 9th. Padres down 5. Here's the 0-2 to Jankowski. Fastball high. Travis 0 for 2 tonight. Walk. Stolen base. Picked off third by the catcher Contreras. That was back in the first inning. Since then, a ground out and a strikeout. Pena ready, and the 1-2 to Jankowski is called. Strike 3. Fastball, inner half, 1 away. So now first and second, 1 gone, and Will Myers stands in. 0 for 3 with a couple of ground outs and a line out. Now 0 for 6 in the series. First pitch to Myers is taken. It's outside with the fastball. Will, of course, has hit much better here at home than he has on the road, but not been the same guy in the last couple of weeks. One swing here changes things dramatically. And now time called as the catcher Contreras goes out to chat with Felix Pena.
Cubs have certainly had more chances to score in tonight's game. They've left 10 men on base in this game, even with the 5-0 advantage. Lots of guys out there on the base paths left.
Yeah, they left 9 last night, scored 5 runs in that one as well. Game ended 5-1. Padres took 2 out of 3 in Chicago. Now the Cubs trying to win the first 2 here in San Diego. Here's the 1-0 to Myers, and Will swings, grounds it foul back to the backstop. Ball and a strike to the Padre first baseman. It really has been feast or famine for the Padres this year. When they win, they score a lot of runs. When they lose, they don't. Tonight, so far, following that pattern. Here's the 1-1 to Myers. Big swing and another foul ball. Straight back. Kind of on top of that ad board behind home plate. Now a ball and 2 strikes to Myers. Chapman looks like he's pretty much ready to go if Joe Maddon decides to call upon him. Padres down 5-0 with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th, but they've got 2 on for Will Myers. Will waits. Pena ready. Looks at second, comes home, and a little ground ball right side base hit. It gets through off the end of the bat. They're waving Sardinias. Here comes the throw from Hayward. It is out. It looked like Sardinias got the hand in around the tag of the catcher Contreras. The plate umpire Nick Lentz kind of got in the way. He got bumped on the play on the slide by Sardinias, a very delayed call, and eventually called him out. Andy Green's going to challenge it. On the back end of the play, Rosales went to third. Myers is at first. For the moment, 2 outs in a 5-0 game, but if the Padres win this challenge, it'll be 5-1 with 1 out, and Solarte coming up. Nice throw by Hayward. And you know what? Contreras, on top of everything else, might have illegally blocked the plate, but I just saw a replay. I don't think he ever tagged him. Yeah, this is going to get overturned in a hurry.
Yep, never tagged him.
He blocked the plate illegally and missed the tag completely. And in fairness to Nick Lentz, the plate umpire, I guess, the pitcher, Pena, was backing up the play and was standing between him and home plate.
Yep, he was blocked.
He was trying to get around the pitcher there and missed the play completely. But that's why you have a replay system. Sardinias will end up scoring the first Padre run of the night, and there it is. Joe West calls him safe. So an RBI single for Will Myers, now 5-1, and runners on the corners with 1 away in the bottom of the 9th. And here comes Joe Maddon, and I imagine Aroldis Chapman. Yep, he makes the signal. So it's now a save situation. Padres are down 4, but they got the tying run in the on-deck circle, and of course that makes it, for whatever reason, a save. So Maddon goes to his closer, Chapman coming in. 5-1 Cubs, 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. Runners on the corners, Solarte coming up. This is Padre Base on July 25th. 31 appearances with the Yankees, 20 saves, and a 2.01 earned run average. With the Cubs, he has appeared in 13 games, collected 7 saves, and has an ERA of 1.64. He enters in what is technically a save situation because the Padres have the tying run in the on-deck circle. But first things first, 1 out, runners on the corners, and Yangervis Solarte coming up to face Chapman for the first time in his career. Solarte tonight 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts and a ground out. All of that, of course, against Arrieta. 8 shutout innings for the Cub ace. He allowed just 2 hits through 99 pitches, but Joe Maddon went to Felix Pena in the 9th. And the young hard-throwing right-hander got himself in a little bit of trouble, so Chapman called upon to try and clean up the mess. Rosales at third, Myers at first. And Will takes off. He will take second easily. Pitches outside to Solarte, 1-0. They do not give Myers a stolen base. But that's big because no chance for that ground ball double play now up the middle. And, of course, another guy in scoring position for Solarte. So now 2nd and 3rd and a 1-ball, no-strike count to Jan Hervis. You know what you're getting with Chapman, a lot of heat. And this one is a called strike at the knees, 101 miles per hour. He is the hardest thrower in baseball. Here's the 1-1 from Chapman. It's a fastball low outside, that time 99. And the count, 2 balls and a strike. Chapman from the left side, in the hundreds, wearing the blue turtleneck with the long sleeves. Sort of his go-to look. 2-1 to Solarte. In the air, right field, over towards the line is Hayward. Kind of a long way to run, but he will size it up, leap up, and make an awkward catch on the warning track in fair territory. Both runners will tag, so Rosales scores. It's a sacrifice fly for Solarte. Myers to third, and now a 5-2 game with 2 outs, and Dickerson coming to the plate. Well, that was almost a really bad moment defensively for Jason Hayward.
He almost overran that, as it turned out, there in right field. The Petco porch kind of messed with him as well. Saw Patrick Kiblahan have problems in that right field corner earlier, and this time Hayward almost dropped that ball.
So a couple of runs here in the bottom of the ninth for the Padres, but they are now down to their final out, and that tying run still in the on-deck circle. And now Alex Dickerson to face Chapman. First time he will stand in against the hard-throwing Cuban left-hander. First pitch fastball inside at 102. 1 ball and no strikes. Really is in a class of his own, Chapman, when it comes to the fastball. Here's the 1-0. It is outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Another fastball. Just 99. 5-2 Cubs, 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. Dickerson trying to get on and get that tying run to the plate. Ryan Schimpf is on deck. Here's the 2-0. That's a fastball strike. Inside corner, 2-1. Myers at third. Now the 2-1 to Dickerson. That's down by the feet. Good stab by the catcher Contreras. Somehow grabbed the 101 mile per hour fastball in the dirt. That prevents Myers from trying to score, and now a 3-ball, 1-strike count. I don't even know how Dickerson got out of the way. Here's the 3-1. It's taken low, ball 4. So Chapman walks Dickerson. And with 2 outs, the tying run will come to the plate, and it will be Ryan Schimpf. Well, the Cubs are making it interesting here. First Pena, now Chapman. Both of these runs charged to Pena. He is also responsible for Myers at third base.
I got to wonder a little bit about the Arrieta decision by Joe Madden, who's only at 99 pitches.
He had faced 1 over the minimum in 8 shutout innings. Schimpf, of course, hit the walk-off homer over the weekend against the Diamondbacks. Can't do that here, but boy, could he be dramatic. Takes a fastball strike on the inside corner, 0-1. Schimpf has not seen Chapman. A couple of Padres have. Dickerson at first, Myers at third. Here's the 0-1. It is low outside, and Dickerson takes second base. 1 ball and 1 strike. No stolen base for Dickerson. Padres now with runners on second and third. And 1-1 to Schimpf. 5-2 Cubs in the bottom of the ninth.
Brandon Bauer warming in case in the Padres pen.
It's a thing you didn't think you'd see about 10 minutes ago, but things have changed. Just a little bit at least. 1-1 is taken low outside. That's a good take by Schimpf. And hey, we talk all the time about the extra base hits, but a lot of walks. Sees the ball really well. Good command of the strike zone. And now 2-1 to Schimpf. Chapman set. And the pitch is a check swing, but a called strike. Fastball outside corner at 101. And now the Padres are down to their final strike. Over the course of Chapman's career, left-handed batters hit 126 against him. Dickerson drew a walk. Now Schimpf trying to keep it alive. Here comes the 2-2. It's in the dirt, gets away. Myers going to come in and score. And it's a 5-3 game. So a wild pitch by Chapman sends Myers home, brings Dickerson to third. And the Padres continue to kind of crawl their way back here very late in the game against the Cubs.
Well, they bounced that one, and it ricocheted off the home plate umpire's mask. Nick Lentz had kicked to the third base side over towards the dugout. And not a problem at all. Myers scoring and advancing to third, Alex Dickerson.
It, of course, was ball 3 to Schimpf, so now a full count to him. 2-run game, runner at third. Bethancourt would be next. Here's the 3-2 to Schimpf, foul back over the screen. Boy, talk about never say die from these Padres.
All the runs charged to Felix Pena. His book now closed. A third of an inning. 2 hits, 3 runs. A walk and a K.
Chapman responsible for Dickerson at third and for whatever else happens here in a wild bottom of the ninth. 5-3 Cubs. Tying run at the plate with 2 outs and a 3-2 pitch about to be delivered to Ryan Schimpf. Here it comes. It's high, ball 4. Second consecutive walk issued by Aroldis Chapman. Third of the inning offered by the Cubs. And now runners on the corners, 2 outs, and Bethancourt will step to the plate representing the potential winning run for the Padres.
Chris Bosio, pitching coach, headed out there to talk to Chapman. And on the wild side here.
Bethancourt will become the 8th man to hit here in the 9th inning for the Padres. If he keeps it going, the pitcher spot is next, and Derek Norris has stepped into the on-deck circle. Pretty quick meeting between Bosio, Chapman, and the infield. Everybody disperses, and Bethancourt will step to the plate. Christian tonight, 1 for 3. He doubled his last time and grounded into a pair of double plays in his first 2 at-bats. Tying run at first base for the Padres, 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. Dickerson at third, Schimpf at first, and Bethancourt at the plate. First pitch from Chapman. Big swing and a ground ball foul outside of third. Nothing in 1 to Christian Bethancourt. Christian has already hit 1 big home run against the Cubs this year. Solo shot against John Lackey. The only run in the Padres' 1-0 win in Game 2 of the doubleheader at Wrigley. This one is swung on and missed. Fastball at 101. He chased it. And now again, the Padres are down to their final strike. 0-2 from Chapman to Bethancourt. Runners lead off first and third. Here's the 0-2. Swung on and missed. Got him with a high fastball. 101 miles per hour from Aroldis Chapman. Padres made it interesting, but the Cubs close it out. And Chicago takes Game 2 of this series by a final score of 5-3. Take a break, come back with the totals. Padres got 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th, but they leave the tying run on first base. This is Padre Baseball on the mighty 1090 Padres Radio Network.
Since 1950, Sid's Carpet Barn